Hey, it's Mary with the Painted Peach. Today we're going to use some air dry clay and a printable that I made on Canva to try to transfer the image onto the clay. This brand of clay I've never used before. I found that it was a little sticky compared to other air dry clay, and I had to use a lot of cornstarch to make it not stick to my roller or my hands or my glass table. I found this tutorial on Pinterest on how to transfer images, so I wanted to give it a try myself before I went live doing it, and so I figured I would make a little tutorial video to see if it helps any of you not make my mistakes. My first mistake was not putting cornstarch down right away. I did cut that part out of the video, but you'll see me adding cornstarch here now. You can see that it is stuck to my rolling pin a little bit, so I do add some to that as well. I'm just rolling the clay out so that I can get it flat enough to transfer an image onto it. So I am getting it nice and flat and wide enough for the image. It is still sticking a little bit to my roller. I will definitely not choose this brand of clay again, but I'll try this with another brand soon. Now I'm just going to cut out one of my images and we're going to put it right on there. But first we need to put some water down and rub the clay top with some water. Now in the video I watched, she said not to add too much water because the paper will stick. I found you'll see that my paper stuck anyway. I only added a small amount of water on top of here. It feels very sticky. I just think maybe it's the brand of clay, so that's why I'm going to try another brand at a later time. So now I'm cutting out the image, and I'm going to start with a little bee, and I'm just going to lay it upside down, press it with my hand, rub it a little bit. Don't put too much pressure, but you do want it to adhere to the clay so the ink can embed into it. Maybe I rubbed too hard or too much, but my paper does stick, and I was a little disappointed in that. I also cut out the honeycomb, and we're going to add that to the end of this clay. In the video I watched for the tutorial, it showed that she used an inkjet printer, so I also used an inkjet printer, and she used regular printer paper, which I used as well. So now I'm just rolling out some more clay. That way I can do some more images. I have some hot air balloons I wanted to try on here. So that's what we're doing now. We're just doing the same process. And the one I'm going to use on this is going to be actually color ink. And I wanted to see if it made any difference. So now I'm just adding a little bit of water so that we can put our image down and see how it does. I noticed that on this one, it seemed as if I had a little bit more water in a certain area. So that gave me an idea of maybe I needed to add more water to it. So I tried that to see if it made a difference. Here I realized that I had stuck that clay in some water that I had sprayed up there. So I needed to get some cornstarch on the bottom and put it back, but I decided to do a little bit more rubbing on it. Maybe I just rubbed too much and that's why my paper stuck, but I'm giving a little test right now to see how it looks, and I noticed that my black ink does not transfer. It transfers in like a red color. So then I decided this is where I'm gonna just add water to the back and see if that helped the black ink adhere. Maybe if I did this from the beginning, it would have done that, but it just seemed like all it wanted to do was put red ink on there. It could be my printer isn't as good as the lady that used hers, that did the tutorial. Either way, I just think that this was kind of a fail, but it kind of worked too. So I do believe at the end that the one that worked the best was the color ink. I thought the black ink would work, but the color ink came completely off, no paper sticking, nothing. So that's that. So this is where you'll see me pull up and you'll see that the paper does stick. And you'll see that the ink is red. So a little disappointing, but the image did transfer. So it worked. It was just we need to come up with ways to get over these obstacles that are preventing us to do it the correct way. But not a complete fail, just a little fail. Anyways, I'm going to fast forward through this, but I'm going to pull up all the papers and show you the finished product. Now I'm just cutting around the images to the shape of them, or at least kind of towards the shape of them. And then I'll show you up close. Alright, so here is all my little scraps I'm throwing into a pile, and then I'll show you up close what these things look like. You can see the color did really well. None of the paper stuck. The other ones, they did get stuck and there's paper on them. I decided that I was going to try to get some more of the paper off. So right now I'm just moving them to the side. Alright, so here are the finished transfers. I did one more with a bigger balloon. It's also stuck, the paper stuck to it. So I decided now I'm going to put a little water on my finger and see if I could rub off some of that excess paper. It did work a little bit, but then it started smearing the ink a bit, so I gave up. But if you did rub a little bit with very little water, it does take off some of that paper. So here you can see the color worked very well. There's no paper left on that. It is very nice. I think I will do color from this point on with this clay. The rest of them have paper and the ink on some is faded, some is red, and I just think that the color one worked out perfectly. Here I'm adding the bee to the honeycomb to see if it'll dry that way. Just playing around. But you know, all in all, this was a fun experiment, and I urge you to try it yourself. But next time I'll try a different clay.